All right. Good evening, everyone. The Irish Hammer here with you, along with Joshyboy. Josh, great to have you back. Missed you last week. Glad you're
Thank you.
feeling
Missed you
better.
too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We'll become a staple on Wednesdays, and it was a shame we missed you last week, but do appreciate you passing your plays along. Did post those on the podcast site for those of you that also missed Josh. So hopefully we've got some pretty good stuff cooked up here. I did want to real quick, if I can find it. Bear with me, y'all. This is live TV. Um, I meant to have this pulled up, and then I got distracted. Had a ooh shiny moment. See if I've got it handy, which I think I do. Or maybe not. There we go. Sorry, y'all. So we went 17 and 11. So not the 23 and 4 week that we had prior, but still 17 and 11. That's profit. And on a side note, did have a few anytime touchdown cashes and a couple other parlays that we did a giveaway on. So hopefully we'll be able to do that again this week with some of these plays. So, Josh, I will let you start us off first, though. Before I do that, hold the phone. We've got one game on Thursday. That is Sam Houston State versus New Mexico State, or the state of poverty, as this game should be called. You got anything on that game?
No, I don't have anything in that game.
Okay. Outside of the state of Texas and some far-reaching corners of New Mexico, this probably not garnering a lot of interest. So I can understand not a lot of people paying any attention to this game. However, I do feel like there's some value here, and I'm always a sucker for the standalone games, trying to find something that will entertain me because I tend to be a little degenerate at times. So I dug into it a little bit, and I actually like the over in this game. I got it at 53.5. Sam Houston State's allowed 37 or more points in all four of their games this year. New Mexico State has allowed, on average, their past two games, 43.5 points. Well, if you add those two numbers up, that's a hell of a lot more than 53.5. So I'm going to play the over in this game. I'm not putting my normal full unit on it. I'll probably throw, 10, 15 bucks, something like that. But just for a fun little play on Thursday night, standalone. I know we've got a big NFL game as well with the Rams and Niners. But I don't know. Both these defenses are god-awful. They should be able to basically score at will on one another. And even with anemic offense, I think 53.5 points is within reach. So I'm going to take a small play on Sam Houston and New Mexico State over 53.5. And then Friday, we also have another game. Josh, that's New Mexico and San Jose State. Anything on that game for you?
No, but I do have a Friday play, not that game.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and give us your Friday play, and then I'll cover that New Mexico and San Jose State game.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody was listening in our first podcast we did Hammer. I took West Virginia over 5.5 wins as a future, and I'm kind of going to hedge off of this bet. So I am taking West Virginia team total under 13.5 points. They're going to BYU this Friday. They already announced their starting quarterback, Nico Marchirio. is out, and he is going to redshirt, I think, and backup Jalen Henderson is starting this game. And if anybody who hasn't watched BYU so far on this season on defense, they are really, really good. I think West Virginia is going to have a really hard time even scoring 10 points in this game. So give me West Virginia team total under 13 and a half points.
All right, sounds good. And I first thought it was 16 and a half for BYU, and I thought, man, that's a lot of points. Well, it's up to 18 and a half now. And the juice is on the under at 47 and a half. So, I mean, Josh, that plays right into the script of what we're seeing as far as what Vegas thinks is going to happen in this game. And I'll be honest, I don't know that BYU could win this game like 24-3 or something. Seriously. So as scary as 18 and a half points is, I mean, that game's in Provo. It's a late kick. It's a long travel for West Virginia. They're god-awful. Yep. BYU's defense, as you said, is stellar. And they can be a little sporadic on offense. That may be BYU. But this is not a very good West Virginia team. I know we talked about them in the offseason, and I was with you. I felt like they would go under that win total for the season. And, I think you're dead on it. I think West Virginia is going to have a very difficult time generating offense in this game, which should lead to not many points. So that's one I will revisit before before tomorrow, Friday. Dang, I don't know what day it is. It's October. I'll revisit that. If I end up taking something on that, I'll post it. But if anything, the under I think is definitely in play. But man, I'm really feeling tempted on those points.
Yeah,
it's a lot of points. That may be a teaser play on both the side and the under, because be able to get that up to like 53 and a half or so on a underplay spread. I could probably get down to a couple touchdowns. I may end up throwing that in a teaser. If I do, I'll post it for everyone. All right. Because that's you're right, man. West Virginia is going to have a hell of a time with that BYU defense. No question about it. Let me jot that down. Let's see. So you got West Virginia. What was their team total? 13 and a half?
Yeah, 13 and a half.
Yeah, I don't see them scoring. 13 points in that game against that defense. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good read on your part. The Friday game I like is staying in New Mexico. Is New Mexico San Jose State. San Jose State's a slight favorite in this game, and I don't understand why, other than maybe it's at home. Maybe I'm a little biased too, because New Mexico pulled off that upset against UCLA and the volleyball player. But, coming out of that game, they beat UCLA. They got UCLA's coach fired. This is a very balanced offense. They go for about $185 on the ground. They go for about 215 in the air. So it's a very balanced offense. And, quite frankly, San Jose State's defense is pretty porous. They bleed yards, they bleed points, and they've given up 28 or more in 3 straight games. So I don't really understand why San Jose State's favored. They've done nothing to show me that they can win, games against any team with a pulse. So I'm gonna throw a dart with New Mexico. Keep riding that volleyball player beating team, and hope they pull off a slight upset. It's very tight spread. In fact, let me just look at it real quick. 2.5 points. So, and it's only San Jose State minus 2.5 at minus 112. And New Mexico's actually at minus 108 to cover 2.5. So, I feel like this is a coin flip game. Hopefully the coin lands on the right side for us. But I'm going to take the Lobos on the money line.
And Hammer, I don't mind the over in this game, over 58.5. I don't think both defenses are that good.
Yeah, and especially San Jose State's defense is not very good. It's a slight juice to the under 58.5, but if New Mexico gets rolling, they're hard to deal with because of the balance that they use. They're pretty equal running and throwing, so they could definitely give San Jose State some problems, and that's why I feel like they might be able to pull this upset. So New Mexico money line for me. All right, so that wraps up Thursday, Friday games. Josh, what do you have for us in the way of the Saturday slate?
Can you talk a little bit before I want to look up some research on my play I'm about to give out?
All right, sure. So I'll go ahead and throw one out for Saturday, and I don't have these in timeline order, y'all, because my brain just sometimes doesn't focus and function like that. So I'm going to start with Army and UAB, and I'm looking at the total in this game at 57.5. Now, we got a pretty close look at UAB's defense in Neyland Stadium a few weeks ago, and quite frankly, wasn't very impressive. In fact, we probably could have hung 70 plus on them as well had we not played so many of our younger guys, which we needed to do. There's no point in wasting effort on that team, especially the way they played. But UAB's given up 482 yards a game. That's a lot of real estate. 220 plus on the ground they're allowing. They're also allowing 41 points a game on average. And that's with us just hanging 56 on them. That could be a lot higher. But their offense does have a little bit of heat. They can move the ball. They can score. So I'm looking at this, and granted, Army's not had the start to the season that I know certainly they expected. I thought they'd be a little more competitive in a couple of their early games as well. But there's one thing I know about Army. They can run the damn football, and UAB can't stop it. So I love the over 57.5 in this game. In fact, I'm marking that as one of my best bets of the weekend. So I'm gonna put a little bit more juice on that than I normally would, because I just don't see either one of these defenses being very resistant, especially UAB's defense to that power running game that Army's going to bring to the table. So, they're averaging 41 points a game. I mean, Army could do most of the heavy lifting themselves and get to this total. So give me Army UAB over 57.5 points. Josh, you ready? You need me to keep blabbing?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah, so Hammer, we're going to Athens, Georgia. Georgia coming off that big game against Alabama, obviously losing 24-21. So I am going to take Georgia minus 20.5 in this game against Kentucky. I really don't get this line. I think it should be more like minus 27.5, minus 28. I feel like this is really too low, and when you see a line this low, you want to take the dog. But I am laying it with the Georgia Bulldogs. I think they bounce back against Kentucky, and Kentucky's offense is not going to be able to score more than one touchdown in this game. So give me Georgia minus 20.5 against Kentucky.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I know my buddy Rando over at Heavy Pour Sports Podcast is going to be happy to hear this. I don't think that line's high enough either. I think Georgia's going to come in there with a bad taste in their mouth, and they are going to absolutely dog walk, pun intended, the Wildcats. That's going to be ugly. And I don't know that get right game is right because, I mean, we've seen Georgia be exposed a little bit on the defensive side, but that offense, it can still cook. And there is nothing Kentucky can do offensively in this game to compete. And I think Georgia's going to have a field day on their defense. So I don't think it's a get right game. I think it's a bloodletting game. And Georgia's going to let plenty go. So I love it. It's a ton of points, like you say. But I just don't see any scenario where Kentucky stays competitive in this game. I think Kirby's going to be able to score as many points as he wants to. All right, so I'll go to my next play. This is a heavy lean, okay? I hadn't bet it yet. But I like Pitt minus 6.5 against Boston College. Now, I know Pitt dropped a little bit of a gut wrencher last week to Louisville, but Pitt was up in that game 17-0 early. And they had 5 turnovers, and we all know you can't turn the ball over and win. It really doesn't matter who you play. So, and Louisville's a very opportunistic team. One of, I think, a handful of teams that's perfect against the spread this year. So Pitt had it all in front of them and just literally gave it away. I don't expect them to have 5 turnovers against Boston College. Now, both these offenses are pretty good in the passing game. But I think the difference in this game is going to be Pitt's ability to run the football and Pitt's defense. Pitt's defense is only allowing 76 yards per game on the ground. So if they can keep Boston College's pass game just somewhat in check, I mean, they're not going to be able to run the ball on them. So they're going to make them one-dimensional. I mean, Pitt's back at home, bad taste in their mouth. I think Pitt can cover this split. I mean, it's a touchdown. So I'm going to take Pitt minus 6.5 against Boston College. Josh, what else you got?
Yeah, Hammer, we are going to Tallahassee, Florida, Miami, and Florida State. So Florida State catching 4.5 against Miami. And College Game Day is going there this Saturday, right?
I think that's what I saw. Yeah. When we don't play, I don't pay as close attention to that stuff. So
gotcha. Yeah, so big game, Miami, Florida State. Florida State coming off loss at Virginia. So give me Florida State catching 4.5. I think Thomas Castellanos and company bounce back in this one against Miami. And I trust Thomas Castellanos more than I trust Carson Beck to make better decisions at the end if it's a close game. So Florida State plus 4.5. Lock it.
All right, taking the Noles to cover at home. That's kind of a stay away for me. I don't have a good enough handle on it either way. And that game is, I mean, you know, in years past, it's always come down to wide right? It's always been tight and close. And that
right.
Both teams kind of went to the toilet for a while. Well, now that looks like that both those teams are I don't want to say backed, but Miami looks pretty solid. I mean, on both sides of the ball, all the way around.
They do.
They're a pretty solid team. And Florida State's already proven that, you know, they are not anything like that team we saw last year on the field. So
yeah.
I think you're in the right spot. I think it's going to be tight. I just don't have a good read either way as to what's going to happen. But I do agree with one other thing you said, and that's Castellanos. That kid can ball. So if it comes down to him,
yeah,
they need him to make a play
can.
at the end of the game, he can deliver. So
yeah,
I like the play.
Thanks.
I'm gonna skip that one. I'll save that one. It's a lean. I'm gonna go straight to another solid play, and that's going to be Boise State and Notre Dame tangle this Saturday. Looking at the total in this one as well. Right now it's sitting at 62.5, I believe is the latest. Let me pull that because these things can change. I got it at 62.5. It is still 62.5. And Notre Dame is like a 20.5 point favorite in this game. So it looks like Notre Dame should just pound Boise. And that very well may happen. But Boise, they looked terrible early because South Florida laid a whooping on them in their first game. But Boise's kind of found their groove. They learned how to play football without Ashton Genty. So that offense is kind of rolling. And let's be honest. I mean, Notre Dame's got some issues on defense. Now, more so in the pass game, I think, than the run game. But I think Boise can expose them for some points. And we know what this Notre Dame offense can do. So I like the over 62.5 in this game. I know that's a lot of points for a 20.5 point spread. But I just feel like Boise can go in there and at least generate some offense, contribute to this total. And I just don't think Boise's going to have any answers for Jeremiah Love and the running game of this Notre Dame team. So give me the over 62.5, Boise and Notre Dame. All right, Josh, what else you got for us?
All right, Hammer, this one is a lean. We're going to Gainesville, Florida, Texas, and Florida tangling. So kind of a get in, get out spot. We are looking at a total in this game in the first quarter. We are going under 7.5. I think both of these offenses are going to struggle early. And I feel like the defenses are going to play really, really good for the whole game. And I do not see either team crossing the 50-yard line in the first few quarters of this game. So give me under 7.5 first quarter, minus 115.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking at that full game total. It was 45.5. It is, oh, good God. It's down to 41.5.
41.5, yeah.
Woo, Lord. I done missed my boat. There ain't no way I don't think I can take that under. 45.5 was definitely I would look hard at that as an under, but I can't go 41.5. God, that'd be terrible. That'll be a horrible game to watch if that total goes under. Which, I mean, it's Florida and Texas. It's going to be horrible anyway. But yeah, I don't see a lot of points in this game because both teams right now kind of hanging their hat on defense and not sold on either quarterback. Been saying it all year, but it's finally showing up on the sport books now. So good Lord. There was a time, Josh, where Texas team total would have been 41.5 for this game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
for sure.
Lord. If anybody got anything higher than 41.5 out there, you got a deal because I saw this thing today, not Monday. I saw this today at 45.5 in one book. So, holy cow. Yeah, leaving that alone. I can't even tease that down or tease that up. I mean, there's no way. All right, well, I'm going to stay with a total. That's kind of been my theme for the day. I've been on a couple sides, but I'm just liking some of these totals, y'all. So it is what it is. Vandy travels to Tuscaloosa. Diego Poverty gets his second leg of his round trip with the Gumps. And I don't know what's going to happen. 10.5 points, I think, is the spread. I'm not sure how I feel about that, although my lean would be Bama has had this game circled for dang near a year. So I think they've got something laid up for for Diego and company. But I'm taking the over 55.5 in this game. Bama's offense has definitely found its stride, and their defense kind of showed up against Georgia this past weekend. As bad as I hate to say it, and I'll probably have to rinse my mouth out and take a shower after I say this, but this Vandy team's cooking. Now, I know they haven't played anybody, cosmetology schools, Utah State School of Forestry, teams like that. I understand that. But they did beat South Carolina pretty soundly. And as much as he's pissed me off, and as much as I don't like him, and as much as I'm going to enjoy sitting there in Neyland on November 29th, seeing him take an ass whooping back to the West End with him, I got to give the kid his props. He's played tough. He's played gutty. He's got it done. And I think he's got enough juice in the tank to help contribute to get this game over 55.5 points. So I'm going to take Bama and Vanderbilt over 55.5. And, I mean, if the meteor hits and I lose the bet, so be it. Josh, what else you got?
Yeah, we're going to the Big 12 for this one, Hammer. We got Colorado taking on TCU. So TCU coming off that devastating loss against Arizona State last Friday.
It hurt my heart and my wallet.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of happy about that because I have Arizona State over 9.5 wins as a future. So I feel like Eric McAllister coming off kind of a bad game against Arizona State. I feel like he and TCU get a little bounce back in their step against Colorado and Deion Sanders. So give me TCU minus 13.5.
Woo! Minus 13.5. Well, I definitely like the play. I definitely hope that's what happens in that game. I think Josh Hoover wants to kind of get his groove back because he didn't have a lot of luck last week. So I certainly hope that's the way that game plays out. 57.5 is the total on that game. I don't know how I feel about that. I didn't deep dive into that one as much. But I do like TCU. I'm kind of a fan of Josh Hoover and would like to see them do well, especially against Colorado. So I do like it. I'll look at that. You may have talked me into it. I may put that on a teaser as well because that'll get that to 7.5, and I'll be likey at 7.5. Next game I'll cover is Maryland. Who do they play? Good God. I forgot to write that down.
They play Washington.
Thank you. Everything but who they played. So, yeah, Maryland gets Washington. And, yeah, Washington's licking their wounds pretty good from just an absolute beatdown they got from Ohio State, which, the scoreboard didn't tell the real story in that game. That Ohio State defense absolutely just took their complete wind out of their sails. So Washington's coming into this game actually a 6.5-point favorite. I'm not sure I'm convinced that they're a touchdown better than Maryland, especially making that cross-country trip, because you just about can't go any farther than Seattle, Washington to Maryland. That's almost as far as they could possibly go unless they were playing, Florida or, deep South Texas somewhere. So I'm not convinced Washington has shaken off that loss. I've been a fan of Washington all year, and certainly no shame in losing to the defending champ. But they just didn't look good in that game at all. And I think Maryland's quarterback, Washington, I think he can work some magic and keep this game close. I don't know about an outright win, but I do like Maryland plus 6.5 at home, playing a beat-up Washington team, making a cross-country trip. It's a 2:30 start. They better be glad it's not an 11 or 12 o'clock start. Good Lord. But it's 3:30 East. I'm in Central Time, y'all. Sorry. 2:30 for me. But, yeah, anyway, give me Maryland plus 6.5. Josh, what else you got?
Do you think Washington could lose that game outright at Maryland?
I think it could be a trap game for Washington. I sure do. And Maryland, I think, is another one of those teams that has covered every game. I think they're perfect against the spread. So they looked a little shaky early on, but I've ridden them. They may not have covered one spread. I take that back. They may have missed one spread, but they're a really good cover team. So I mean, yeah, I think anything's possible. We don't know what kind of mindset that Washington will come into this game with, because they're coming off a bad loss. I mean, a bad loss. They look terrible in that game.
Yeah,
traveling all the way across country, and then taking on a pretty scrappy Maryland team. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think it wouldn't be far fetched to see Maryland win it outright, and I think it's like +2. Well, FanDuel right now has it at +202. So you get 2-to-1 money if you feel like Maryland can go ahead and pull off the upset. I mean, but I will make worse bets than that this weekend, I promise you.
But Hammer, I don't think too many teams this season are going to be able to score a lot against that Ohio State defense. They're just really damn good on D.
They are, and I think, Josh, they flexed a little bit more muscle this Saturday than what we've seen up until this point. I think they put the entire conference on notice with that game, because there were a lot of people thinking thinking Washington could cover that 8.5. And I sort of drank the Kool-Aid a little bit. I sprinkled a little plus 8.5 money on that game. And boy, was I wrong. So I think Ohio State made a statement.
Yeah.
Much as I hate them and
hope
they don't win another game the rest of anybody's life. But, I mean, it is what it is. They're a damn good football team, and that defense is top-notch, man. They are going to be a huge problem in the Big Ten. So,
all right. So I gave out one bounce-back spot with Georgia against Kentucky. So we're going to another after Penn State lost to Oregon at home. Penn State taking on UCLA at UCLA. The nation of 3,000 is going to be there.
Tens of people will be there to see this game.
Yep, just to see their son lose. So we are going UCLA team total under 12.5. You can get that at -110 on DraftKings. It's juiced to the over, Hammer, surprisingly at -120. I just don't get this line. I think the Penn State defense is going to lock down on Nico and the UCLA offense. So give me UCLA team total under 12.5.
Yeah, I think the volleyball player is in trouble big time, because Penn State wants to take out some frustration. There's not a better team out there to do it with. Oh, that's probably terrible of me to say, but hey, you got what you wanted, big boy. You made your bed. It's time to get tucked in. All right. My next play, and actually it's my last play, other than a lean that I'm going to give out that I'll probably end up talking myself into. But the one I really like is going to be Texas State and Arkansas State. And excuse me, y'all, I'm still battling whatever this sinus allergy crap is. That total's 64.5. Now, this Texas State offense is really good. It's high-powered, high-octane, but they're really good at running the football. Arkansas State couldn't stop a nosebleed with a tampon. They are outside the 120s in both offense and, pass. Hold on, let me spit this out. They're 120 plus in offensive and defensive efficiency categories. Man. In short, they suck. This is a god-awful team with a god-awful coach. Texas State loves to run that football. And I think they will get up early in this game. And the second half, I mean, they'll just run the ball. They'll run the ball flat slap down Lyle Jones's throat. I don't see Arkansas State contributing to the score in this game. I think Texas State could score as many as they want to, but there's no need to. So I'm going to take the under 64.5, Texas State and Arkansas State. Big win for the Bobcats. Lyle Jones, you suck. Josh, what else you got?
I got 3 more leans, Hammer.
Okay, go ahead and run through all 3 of them if you want to.
Yeah, first one, we're going to the American Athletic Conference. So, University of Texas San Antonio, they played their first 2 games. They started out 0-2, then they won their last 2 games. So, I feel like the Roadrunners have improved since they started the season. They're headed to Temple this Saturday, and they're laying -6.5. I feel like Owen McCowan and Robert Henry and company roll the Owls. So give me UTSA -6.5. I think this line should be more like 8.5 or 9.5.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of points in that game too. Because Temple's offense is pretty good. Their defense is not.
Yeah.
So that might be another play to look at for the total. I've got Temple on a bet to win over 3.5 games. And I think what are they at right now? They've got 2. Temple's
I want to say they're at 2 wins, yeah. Yep. They at 2 wins?
Yeah, they're 2-2.
Gotcha.
They started out 2-0, and they've lost their last 2 because, I mean, their schedule gets tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat UMass and Howard, and then of course got pasted by Oklahoma. Georgia Tech put it on them pretty good. Then they've got UTSA at home, Navy at home. They go to Charlotte. They play at Tulsa. They host East Carolina. They play at Army. They host Tulane, and then they close out with North Texas.
What do you think? Do you think they get 2 more wins?
They better. Dang it. I think the Charlotte game, even though it's at Charlotte, I think they can win that.
That's a win. Yeah.
I'm not sure about Tulsa. They ain't beating North Texas. They probably won't beat Army.
That East Carolina game could be 50-50.
Yeah. Oh, man. I know we're not betting. I've already betted. It's not like we're trying to figure out what we should do. I'm just trying to see, damn it, is there 2 more wins on their schedule?
Yeah.
This was kind of a game I thought they would have a shot in, Josh, to be honest. And I'm not betting against you on this, brother. I'm not doing that. I may do something with that total. But, man, this was one I kind of had circled that they needed to get that ticket in. So, love you, but I hope you're wrong.
Yeah. I also have UTSA to win the American Athletic. I don't think that's going to cash, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Well, I won't say it's locked up, but
I would say it's probably going to be Tulane and South Florida in that championship game.
yeah, I think that's it right there. So we'll see. But we're rarely on opposite sides of games, and I'm
Yeah,
not saying you're wrong. I'm just hoping you are. Okay.
right. Yeah, I know.
So
My
anyway, what
my
else you
second
got?
my second lean hammer, I kind of wanted to go to Mississippi State, Texas A&M. So we're taking first half over 28.5 as my second lean. I think we see points early and often in that game.
What was the total first half? I'm sorry.
28.5.
Yeah.
And
All right.
my third and final lean was I like Cal at home catching a three against Duke. I feel like the travel spot, like other Big Ten teams across the country traveling like a long ways, I feel like this is going to catch up for Duke, and I feel like Cal could win the game outright against Duke.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. I was very, very down on Cal to start the season. In fact, I think I went so far as to say they had the worst roster in college football. And then UCLA said, "Hold my beer." Cal's actually turned out to have a pretty decent football team this year.
Yep.
And man, you ain't kidding. I mean, and come on, folks, what screams Atlantic Coast Conference football more than Duke at Cal Berkeley, right?
Yep. Right.
Jesus, this is just insane. These travel, the travel that they're doing, man, it's
Yeah.
crazy. But you're 100% right though. Just like we were talking about Washington having to go all the way to Maryland, now you've got Duke, who is
Yep.
used to driving 15, 20 minutes down the road to Chapel Hill,
Yep.
or a hop, skip, and a jump 30. I used to live out there, so I know all this
Right.
stuff. I mean, Raleigh's 25, 30 minutes away, hour and a half with traffic, but still, they're used to that kind of travel. Wake Forest, there in Greensboro, not a couple hours away. They're
In
going to
the
freaking Berkeley, California, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
It's insane. Crazy. So it definitely matters. That is definitely a factor in these games, especially West Coast teams traveling east. It is a
Yeah.
huge factor.
In
So
the quarterback for Cal, I can't pronounce his name, nor am I going to try. But
that guy, yeah,
that dude is a stud.
yeah, that's the one piece of their game that I wasn't familiar with. Their quarterback's pretty good. What was the line again? I had, is it 2.5?
+3 on DraftKings.
+3 on DraftKings. What's the money line on Cal on DraftKings?
Let's see. Hold on.
Because I'm showing FanDuel's got 2.5 as the spread. And it's a +122 on the money line for Cal. I like 3 better than I like 2.5. I'll tell you that. I like 3.5 even better.
Money line is +124 on Cal.
Okay, so it's basically the same, 122, 124.
Yeah.
What do we think about a money line bet on Cal?
I don't mind it. I don't mind it one bit.
Duke hadn't looked spectacular. Let me study on that, as my buddy of mine would say.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're getting Cal at 3 or even a 3.5, I definitely like that. That might be one you could even, because I'll do this sometimes. I'll take a play like that that's one of those wonky lines, like 4.5, 5.5, or whatever, and I'll either buy a point up, buy a point down, whatever works, for the situation. So this one, I wouldn't have any problem at all. If DraftKings at 3, I wouldn't have any problem at all buying half a point up, and taking Cal +3.5.
Yeah.
So that's little things I do, and then especially for a parlay, that'd be a great little thing to do because you don't really lose too much in the odds when you parlay it. I'm not talking about a 36 leg parlay, people. I'm talking about like 2 games or 3
Right.
games, something like that. And it
Do you have,
is great for a teaser because that gets you that
yeah.
teaser would get you to 4.5, 5 points somewhere in that neighborhood. So that's a great teaser piece there with Cal. So that's a good catch. I didn't even really pay
Yeah, it
attention to
is.
the game, so I like it.
Do you have anything in the NFL game tomorrow night?
I do. I've got one lean I'm going to give, and then we'll get to that because I'd like to do another giveaway this week from the podcast for the folks that are actually watching and paying attention. So let me give this last little lean here, and then I will show you what I got for the NFL as my husky barges through my office door to come in here and stick her nose in to see what's going on. She's not even paying attention to me. She just wants to come in here and sniff. So anyway, sorry, interrupted by a dog, and then she just leaves. So stupid bitch. Anyway, Kansas State and Baylor. Baylor right now is a 6.5 point favorite. I kind of like Kansas State in this game. This is a lean. It's not an official play yet. I'll probably end up talking myself into it before it's over with. But if nothing else, I wanted to at least bring a few points of interest to everybody's attention. K-State finally kind of got some continuity going on offense last week. But their defense, again, played pretty solid. In fact, Kansas State's the 7th best team in the country in success rate versus pass. So they're holding other teams' passing efficiency at the 7th best clip in the nation. So if you know anything about Baylor, they like to throw the ball. In fact, 17 of their 24 touchdowns they've scored this year have come through the air. Well, that's where Kansas State kind of excels in stopping defense. The other thing that caught my eye about this game is Baylor's defense because they rate outside the top 100 in defensive EPA, which is expected points added. So it's situational based on what the play is and the result, the outcome of the play, down and distance, all this. A big, stupid algorithm type formula that you just have to look it up. Just type in defensive EPA in college football. It'll explain everything to you way better than I can because I'll probably mess it up. Okay, my Huskies joined the program here. So anyway, so I kind of like Kansas State to keep this game close and limit Baylor in the air. Because Sawyer Robertson is a pretty dang good quarterback. So it is a tall task, and I think that's why the spread is in favor of Baylor in this game because of their passing proficiency. But I don't know. I just think Kansas State can do enough defensively to limit him. And then if Avery Johnson, showed some life last week, and their run game was tremendous. So if they could have a repeat performance of that and against this very questionable Baylor defense, I think this game at least stays close. And I think Kansas State can keep it within one score. Again, that's a lean. That's not an official play. If I decide to go with it, something triggers me that, oh yeah, absolutely, this is a lock. No such thing. But if I find something that pushes me over to actually laying money on this game, I'll post it on the podcast page and show my work. I'll explain myself. So All right, Josh, that is all I have for our college slate this week. You mentioned
Okay.
the NFL tomorrow night.
Yes.
What do you have cooking, or what do you like in this game? This is my beloved 49ers, so choose your words carefully.
Yeah. I don't want to play a side in this game, but I kind of am leaning towards a total hammer. I want your thoughts on this, but kind of like the under tomorrow, under 44.5. What's your thoughts on that?
Um, the Niners, injuries killed them last year. It's reared its ugly head again. And Mac Jones is proven serviceable, okay? But he doesn't have Pearsall and he doesn't have Jennings. I don't see the Niners being very effective moving the football. Yes, I know CMC's still back there, but they're going to be pretty one-dimensional. We have no Kittle, we have no Pearsall, we have no Jawan Jennings, we have no Brock Purdy, we have no Nick Bosa. Rams are on fire right now. Matthew Stafford has thrown, I think, 300 yards or close to 300 yards in 3 straight. They can't stop Puka and Devontae Adams. They can't stop Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. I just think same kind of goes with this Texas State, Arkansas State game. I think the Rams are going to probably jump out early, 14, 17-point lead, and then they're just going to sit on the ball. They're just going to eat clock. There's no need for them to run the score up. So, yeah, I don't – if there's a lot of points scored in this game, it's because Sean McVay decided he wanted to. I don't see San Francisco putting much up on the scoreboard at all.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts like on the first half under? I'm seeing under 22.5 on the first half under.
It kind of goes in line with the full game total. I'm a little hesitant because I think if McVay can score early and get a lead, I think he will. So I'm not sure I can take that, because if the Rams score 3 touchdowns and they turn the ball over and San Francisco gets a field goal, that's 24. That bet's toast.
Yeah, that's true.
So I personally probably wouldn't play that. I think that's a little risky. Full game total, I could definitely see going under, though, as the Rams have a lead in the second half and just, they just bleed the clock.
Sitting on the ball, eating clock, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I think even if Purdy did play in this game, I still don't think I could back San Francisco, because who the hell is he going to throw the ball to?
Yeah.
They're so banged up, man. So banged up. And I just, good Lord, it's ugly. It's a bad – we're in a bad spot right now as Niner fans. It's horrible. That does kind of lead me into what I'm doing with this giveaway. I always try to put a parlay together to give out, and if/when we cash it, I like to do a giveaway. So these are the pieces that I'm going to use. Bear with me. Get this screen up here. Oops. Here we go. All right. So most of you probably can't see this because you're watching on your phones, or will watch it on your phone whenever that comes. So I'll cover this real quick. So I have a 6-leg play on Prize Picks. So if this cashes, going to give out $25. All you have to do is follow the podcast page. Of course, we want you guys to follow us too. We'll follow you back. That's me, Joshyboy, Loose Bets, Ferris. You'll find us on there. Follow the podcast page and then send me a direct message with the word Niners, Niners, Niners. You can put the number 9 and ERS if you want to. I'll know what that means. But send me the word in a direct message, Niners, and I will enter you into the drawing if this parlay cashes. We've got Drake May over 27.5 rushing yards. We've got Brian Robinson over 16.5 rushing yards. And I'll explain this one because I just said that all the offense has got to go through McCaffrey, right? Well, here's the thing. They're coming off a short week. They just played Sunday. Now they've got to play Thursday. There's a lot of wear and tear on McCaffrey even now, this early on. So I think Brian Robinson on a short week, I think backup running backs are more apt for more carries on those short weeks. So I love Robinson in this spot at only 16.5 yards. Then we've got Marvin Harrison. They're playing at the Titans. I'm not a big Marv guy, but I think against the god-awful secondary of the Titans, and now both running backs for the Cardinals are out. Of course, Connor's out for the year. Well, now we just learned that Trey Benson's out and going to be put on IR. So it is Michael Wilson and DeMarcado time. I think they're going to have to throw the ball more, and this secondary certainly invites that. So give me Marvin Harrison over 52.5. Then we've got Michael Pittman playing the Raiders at 52.5 also. Give me that over. Chris Olave, they're playing at the Giants. His total is 54.5. I'm taking over on that. And then the Lions get the gift of playing the Cincinnati Bengals this week. I've got Jahmyr Gibbs over 71.5 rushing yards. So I played all of these plays straight and then went and cooked up this little parlay on Prize Picks for the giveaway. So direct message me the word Niners, like the podcast page. Go ahead and like all of us, like our stuff. We'll like you back because we're likable guys. And I'll enter you in this drawing when this parlay cashes. It's solid. Feel free to do anything you want to with that as well. Fade it, whatever you want to do. But that's what I'm going with. I will post it, but I'm not going to mention this giveaway on the podcast page. It is exclusively for you guys that watched either now live or if you go back and watch it later, whatever. That's the only way you can get entered into this podcast. So don't tell people about it. Just tell them, oh, did you get entered? Did you miss out? Blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, this is for you guys. So thank you for following. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. That's how I'd like to give a little reward. And last week I gave out two $10 cash prizes to a couple folks just because, did a little drawing for people following the podcast page. So I'll do stuff like that. If you guys help us build this thing up, and I don't mind at all throwing out some shekels. So, well, Josh, we're approaching the 1 hour mark. Is there anything else that you'd like to share, talk about, go over?
Yeah, Hammer, I don't know if you got your FanDuel Sportsbook.
I do.
Screen up. Does the total on the Arkansas-Tennessee look a headline? Is there one up yet or no?
Yes, it is sitting at 67.5.
I
Tennessee
would,
is favored by 12.5 points, by the way.
I would take the over in that game, and
That's going to be a lot of points.
I would get it in now before it goes up a lot more. I just do not see either defense making stops in that game next Saturday. I would
No,
say
and this is going to be
first one to 50 wins in that game.
could very well be right because we get to kick off Bobby Petrino's comeback tour. So he's going to want to score some points. I would have thought he would have wanted to score some points last week as kind of his audition for taking over, but I guess the Hogs already had their mind made up that Pittman was going to go. So yeah, we get the kickoff for Bobby Petrino's at least interim spot as the head coach. So we'll see what happens, but I would think he would, unlike Bob Stoops, actually be motivated to come out and have a good showing. So yeah, I can see a lot of points getting scored in this game because that defense is terrible.
Yeah, it is.
And hopefully we get some of our pieces back. I wouldn't want to waste McCoy necessarily on Arkansas, but it'd be nice to get these guys healthy and before we get into the teeth of this little stretch we're going to have to play. So yeah, great call by Josh at 67.5. I mean, that's a lot of points.
Yeah,
it's a boatload of points.
A lot of points. And go ahead.
I was just going to say, but I can easily see this game getting there. I can see this game being, Tennessee getting in the high 40s, even 50, and Arkansas. This game could get to 75, 80 points. So,
and before we leave, I had a question for you. Do you think our king Tony Vitello leaves Tennessee to take an MLB job?
Hell no. Why in the world? Why in the world would Tony leave the greatest environment for college baseball with the greatest fan base? He already makes what Bob Melvin was making as the manager of the Giants.
Yep.
He's already making MLB manager money. I don't know why people think that MLB coaches make $12, $15, $18 million a year. Look, y'all, they don't. Dave Roberts makes $8.5 million a year. Dave Roberts is a manager of the Dodgers, and he just makes a little over $8 million a year. There's no way I would want the headache, number one, of the national level media and big market media. That alone is ridiculous. Then you play 162 games. Tony, on a good year, plays somewhere in the 60s, right? So why in the world would you leave after everything he's done and built? Why in the world would he leave? The only reason I think he would leave, and if it's the reason he leaves, shit we can do about it. It's because he just wants to coach in the major leagues. That's it. There's no other reason for him to go. And
yeah, he's got it made at Tennessee. He has everything that he could ever ask for at the University of Tennessee.
Yeah, we renovated the stadium. He's getting probably one of his best recruiting classes ever is coming in. He just goes in the transfer portal and takes whoever he wants. I don't see it. Now, I could be wrong, and he could end up, taking the Braves or the Giants or, excuse me, whatever job opens up. But I just don't see it happening. I think he's got it made. I think he knows he's got it made. And, and I've seen some people even comment on this out there saying that they see this as kind of like a Mike Gundy deal where, it's kind of being floated. It could even be floated by his agent to stir interest to, force us to give him more money. I don't see Tony as being that kind of guy. He seems nothing but genuine. and he's as transparent and honest as I think any coach of any sport at any level we've ever seen. So I personally don't see it. I sure hope that's not the case. Time will tell. If he goes, it won't be for money. It'll be because he wants to coach at the major league level, period. And there won't be anything we can do.
Do you think Hammer, if he decides he wants to stay here, do you think we hear a decision by the end of this week?
I don't know what the time frame for these major league teams are. So kind of hard to say. I guess it depends on who they want to target, because obviously if there's anybody that, the Braves or Giants, for example, want to go after, if they're still playing, if they're in the playoffs, then they're not going to be able to talk to them. So I don't know if they have that short of a time frame, or if either of those, if either of those teams have a target on a team that's still playing in the playoffs, they're going to wait. So, and there's one thing I'm pretty sure, that both those organizations, they're going to do their due process until they talk to every name on their list. They're not going to make it a hire. So I'd say it'd be tough to say we'll hear the end of this week. This may stretch out. This may stretch out a couple weeks or possibly longer, depending on whose names are on what list.
Right.
I'm like you. I would rather hear something sooner than later. But as of right now, all it is rumor. Because we're not hearing any other baseball coach. We're not hearing their name floated out there by anybody, and we don't even really know what the source of this is. We were being told it's coming from the organizations, but everything I've been able to put a concrete finger on, it's sports writers. It's not the organizations revealing this information. So that's why I was everybody like, just hold on, just pump the brakes on this. Don't get in a tizzy over it. There's really nothing. There isn't anything to worry about yet. Now, if a representative of either of the teams come out and say they have an interest in Tony Vitello, or we hear that Tony's making a trip to Atlanta or San Francisco, then maybe we got something to worry about. But right now, it's just chatter, and I wish people would kind of take it with a grain of salt, because you or I can sit here and say anything. Hell, I'm a potential candidate if you want to come right down to it, right? I mean, they could hire me if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So just because a sports writer comes out and says that Tony Vitello could be a potential candidate for the job, that's just throwing mud on the wall and seeing if it sticks. So I'm not buying into it. My gut tells me he's not leaving, but we will have to wait and see. I don't think it's going to happen quickly.
I don't either.
Speaking of baseball, please God, let me see good news. Yankees and Red Sox tied at 3, bottom of the 8th.
Yep.
I was just gutted last night. Max Fried pitched his ass off. That was a gem of a game.
He did.
Stupid Aaron Boone, man. He should have left him in.
Yeah, he should have left him in.
It's just like Crochet. It's kind of like, I'll let you know when I'm ready to come out. When he should have just said, Max, when you just don't have anything left, when you pitched your last pitch, when you got no gas in the tank, then I'll come get you. But they should have left him in. That was stupid. That was, and he's done a lot of dumb things during his time at the helm. That was probably one of the dumbest. Max is on cruise control. I don't care about the pitch count. I don't care about the pitch count.
Yeah. And
what happens? Luke Weaver's sorry ass comes in and immediately puts 2 runs on the board. Oh, that wasn't good enough? Well, let's run Devin Williams out there. Oh, here's you another run, Boston. Sick. Made me sick. Been the story all year, though.
Yep.
I knew deep down, even if we made a deep run, our bullpen's what was going to cost us. And it's already reared its ugly head. So, but that was terrible managing. That was horrible decision by Aaron Boone to pull Maxey.
Well, at least your team is not watching from home like mine is. I'm a big Atlanta Braves fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you are. And hey, I'll tell you though, they're not far from joining you because they lose this game, it's over. So
yeah.
I hope I don't have to hang this hat up tonight. I hope I get to keep it on a little bit longer.
One more day. Yeah.
Yeah, at least one more day. Give us a shot because those game threes and the wild card and the game threes, God only knows what kind of pitching there's going to be run out there. So I feel like a chip in a chair, I still got a chance. So
right.
Hopefully it plays out. I know there's a lot of Red Sox fans.
Yankees just went up 4-3.
That's what I'm talking about.
Boom.
Thank goodness.
So. Yes. Well, Hammer, it was great breaking it down with you, like always.
Always. It's always my pleasure and my treat to have you on. I'm glad you're back up to speed. And
me too.
Look forward to doing it again next week.
Yes.
Of course, follow Josh. Is Joshyboy Tennessee is his Twitterverse handle. So make sure you follow Josh. Follow the podcast page. You know what to do to get entered into the drawing for the money. And let's cash some tickets. Thank y'all for joining. Really appreciate it. And we will see you next.